They literally print money. So when you really break it down, what is more important? The time. But the way the system is designed, in order to get your time, you need to find ways to exit that trap where you are constrained by money.
Escape the matrix.
Guys, appreciate it. Top tier podcast. This is episode 2. If you tuned into the first one, thank you for coming back. If you haven't seen the first, we're going to leave the link in the description. Check that video out. That is just an overview of what we're going to be diving into during the podcast.
It was a good one.
Absolutely, it was a good one. So now today is a bit of a teaching moment. We're going to specifically dive into a topic, which is time management, right? Everybody's got goals, where they're heading towards, desires, things that you want in life. But in order to get there efficiently, you need to manage your time wisely. So first thing to dive into is utilizing your hours. So Alex, break it down for them, please.
Yeah, utilizing your hours is highly important because it's that famous saying, everyone's got 24 hours in a day. Now, if you've got 24 hours in a day, we need to be like, right, how can we actually maximize that time? How can we maximize that time? Because we're in a stage where people are saying that they haven't got time to do this, they ain't got time to do that. And you have to think about what is where your time is really is actually being spent in. So what we're going to do, we're going to do a little exercise. You'll see it on the PowerPoint slide that we're about to show you right now. So that will be popped up. But as you will see is that we've got 24 hours in a day. 24 hours in a day, times up by 7 is 168 hours in a week. Yep. So yeah, Alpha, we can make this interactive with the guys as well. Yeah, sure. So we're going to be 168 hours, and then within that 168 hours, even as for the bare essentials, you need to sleep. And I'll say the average sleeping time is around about 8 hours.
8 hours
a night. 8 times 7, apologies, is 56?
We've got 56.
It's 56 hours. Then obviously you have to work because, and the average, just say that we're working, maximizing it on like 40 hours per week. So you got that 40 hours right there. Then you need to eat. So that in itself with like breakfast, lunch, dinner, lunch, or, but just say about 2 hours a day, give or take. That's like 14 hours a week. And then obviously, as a man, you need to go to the gym because you need to know how to fight. So you need to spend, some time there as well. So we'll say, an hour a day. So we're looking at about 5 hours on that as well. So in total, what we're rocking up to?
Rocking up to like 115 hours.
115 hours. So if we look at 115 hours, and that's just the core basic, as your basic fundamentals just to survive. Then obviously you need to spend time with the family. If you've got kids, obviously you've got to play with the kids. So, and obviously you have that family time with the wife or kids or whatever it may be, or even girlfriend, whatever the situation may be. You need that extra quality time. And if you're basing it again on 2-3 hours in the evening or whatever it may be, again, that might be wrapped up to like 14 to 15 hours. When it's all said and done, you still got around under about 50 hours left. And with that 50 hours, that's another side hustle. That's another side hustle that you can be doing to be making more money, to be maximizing your time. So when we're talking about time management, we're going to show you how to effectively create another side hustle. So the only excuses that I can't get to where I want to get to. We're going to make sure that we get to that next stage, get to that top tier by utilizing that time effectively.
That's it. And when it comes to utilizing your hours well, what Alex has really broken down for you there, these are the essentials, right? The essentials in life. But what he's really saying to you is you have hours upon hours left to do other things. Like he said, the side hustles, the family time, engaging with friends, etc. Now, this is where you need to make a choice. How you're utilizing your hours. Yep. What waste are you willing to eliminate, right? You have a set vision. You have set goals where you're going towards. Now, your hours, you have to prioritize. What is necessary for me to get where I need to go, and what am I willing to sacrifice as far as time? So when it comes to the side hustles, any thoughts? I think personally, let's say somebody's working a standard 9-to-5 job, right?
Yeah.
They get to work 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
They wrap up by 5 p.m.
Correct.
Head home, maybe 6 o'clock they get home. But I say from 6 to 10, if you wanted an additional income, you can go and pick up another job easily, 4 hours part-time. Easily.
Even with something as basic as Amazon. If you want, it all depends on where you want to go. But even if you have something like Amazon Flex or whatever, you can get that little side hustle on. You can build from there, or you can actually create like an online business, put that time in. There's so many ways of doing it. Or you got the Amazon, the Amazon drop shipping, so you got that avenue as well.
Yeah.
So that's the way that I would say that would be a good side hustle, or even just to educate yourself, just to actually find out how to get out of that rat race.
Exactly. Those extra hours, being able to invest in yourself. So if we say something real tangible right now, if you need additional income, like Alex said, you've got, let's say Amazon deliveries, right? I say on average, if somebody done that 4 hours, let's say 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the evening, after their day job, they might make £50 for that shift. If you're willing to push it 5 days a week, what's that? £250 a week. Then multiply it by 4. That's an extra £1,000. So what we're really saying to you now is, if you're not where you want to be, if you're stuck in a rut, there is always a way to get out of that rut. But what are you willing to do?
And just to echo from that, but with that £1,000, I'm not saying just to do, to do delivery at that point. We're saying that use that money as your startup capital to go into the big, into the actual projects where you can actually level up or invest, or to go into even to like the crypto market maybe. So there's always ways and avenues that you can obviously maneuver around, but don't use that money to go and spend it on liabilities. Use that money to go and put it into assets, meaning either making it fund your new business idea or put it into things that you can actually put into invest.
There's always something to do. There's always something that you can do to optimize yourself and get to where you need to go ultimately, is what we're saying to you here.
Definitely.
And now, I think the next bullet to really dive on is productivity.
Yes. And procrastination.
So let's break it down. Let's say your day. In order to be productive, you need to approach your day the right way. And I think that starts with planning. Plan your day. So I'm taking the average Joe, right? So this can land very easily. It's easy to comprehend, easy to understand. Working 9 to 5. Before you even start your working day, you should have a pen and paper and you should plan your day out. You know what's happening work-wise. So let's say 9 a.m., you're going to check your emails. You're going to check your diary. You probably got meetings throughout the day if you're working in a corporate environment. During your lunch hour, what are you going to do? Are you going to use the full hour, watch YouTube videos as well as eating your food? Or are you going to think, let me take 30 minutes from that and maybe read something, maybe work on a course? Plan your day, know what you're doing, know what's happening in the afternoon. Be very rigid with it in planning. Block out your diary. And for me personally, that's something I've done for years and it works. I know exactly what I'm doing every day, by the time, by the hour, by the minute, to be honest with you. And it works effectively. There's many ways to skin a cat. It's finding an approach that works best for you. But I think planning your day and being specific is an effective one.
Right. So, you always say that saying like the 4 a.m. club or the 5 a.m. club. Like, what's your thoughts on that?
5 a.m. club, interestingly enough, routine. Before I even read the 5 a.m. club book, it's something that I just done research on and realized that it's an optimal way to live, right? So I've been getting up at 5 a.m. for years.
Yeah.
Now, the main rationale behind it was that most people aren't up at 5 a.m. So when you go throughout your day, there's distractions, there's things to do. Ultimately, other people want your time. But at 5 a.m., if you're willing to wake up at that time and say, I'm not going to check my phone. These are the things that I do in the morning. Bright and early, this is my investment in myself. That's focus time. That's clarity time. That's your time. For me, I'll break it down. Let me give you a real example. 5 a.m., as soon as I wake up, I think, what am I grateful for? Right? And I express that gratitude. I'm grateful for A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Right now, the side note, mentally, that conditions you to start on a positive note. Right? Then I have 15 minutes. So at 5:15, that's my time for me to pray, meditate. That's just reflective time, eyes closed, quiet, just in a reflective state. From 5:15 to 5:30 or 5:35, I'm reading, I open my book. Again, I've got a method which I touched on in the first one, but something which is efficient, but works so the information sticks. Check out episode 1 if you want a breakdown of that. And we may do a later one where I'll really specifically give you the real techniques of how I go about reading, studying, and retaining information. So I've done the reading, that bit is finished. Then it's grooming myself and getting ready to go to the gym. So I'm in the gym by 6 o'clock exactly. I've got an hour for weights, wrap that up at 7 o'clock in the morning. Then I've got another 20 minutes to do cardio, 7:20, and get down, go in a sauna, so more meditation time for about another 20 minutes or so. Then get in a shower, and I've wrapped up everything. I've put my suit, I've put my tie on, and I'm out by 8 o'clock in the morning.
And and what you've done, that you've achieved, and you've actually knocked out quite a few of your tasks before most people are either getting up for work or even on their way to work. So already, so you got a head start of the day. And that is ultimately what it is as well, by managing your time. If you can literally discipline yourself by going to bed early, by getting those 8 hours sleeps, because obviously you always hear that saying as well that, I sleep when I sleep when I die. But at the end of the day, like, you need to rest. But once you kind of get that right amount of sleep, and then you start from the beginning and you wake up early, then you can have a good reset and be like, right, I want to start my day from 5 a.m. and I want to be ahead of the curve.
Yes, and there's a psychological aspect to this. And I use the term win your day. So if you implement a routine like this, you've already won your day before it's even started.
Yeah.
Right? So you see the mental space that puts you in,
Yeah.
it makes you more productive, it makes you more efficient, it makes you overall positive person.
Yes.
And it builds your resilience because you're being disciplined to achieve what you want to achieve.
And on top of that as well, if you go to the gym in the morning, you already got the endorphins.
Exactly.
So you're already bouncing
off the walls.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So you're already on that. You're already on that good energy vibe anyway. And ultimately in life, energy attracts energy. So if you're in a good space, that's going to obviously attract good things around you. And then when it gets down to the day-to-day working now, that's when you actually home in now and actually be thinking, right, how can I make those 8 hours while you're at work, how can I even make that productive? It's one of those sayings, again, work smarter, not harder. So even when you're at work, intensity, when you're at work, you actually want to make sure that you get those wins, because when you get those big wins, number one, you'll feel that you've achieved something. And also when you do have a bit of that low time, because everyone has that bit of low time in work, those are the times where you can be like, right, how can I elevate myself in that work environment so I can actually take myself to that next level? And then from that, then you can be like, right, I've even had a win day at work. Now it's about time to work on that side hustle because I've got that bit of spare time. Obviously, you have to get your food in and obviously time with the family. But if you can just dedicate, for example, a couple hours or even an hour a day, you'd be surprised. Is again, you're compounding. There's this saying that they always say, death by 1,000 paper cuts. And with that, also you can say that it's death by 1,000 paper cuts with time. So what I mean by that is that each time you are wasting like half an hour there, it's compounding, and you're actually basically killing yourself in the long run because you're basically stealing time from yourself on a day-to-day basis.
Exactly. I think even what's funny, imagine if somebody else was stealing your time. How would you feel about it? So imagine stealing from yourself. You should be even more critical upon yourself for stealing time from yourself. So what you said is very important, Alex.
Because ultimately, when you really break it down, when you're as an employee anyway, your time is already stolen by your employer anyway. If you want to get down to the nicks and crannies of it, your time is already stolen from that point. Obviously, you're exchanging it for finance because you're getting money back. But ultimately, the reason why we even have time management is to ultimately get your time back. The end goal is to ultimately have an abundant amount of time with yourself as possible to get your time back. That's the whole point of time management, because because when you get to a point when you're like, right, I've got a side hustle, I can basically quit my job, I can actually get my time back, so I can actually put it into my new actual venture, my new venture, or whatever venture you want to go down to. Ultimately, we're always in the race of fighting for time. And when you actually break it down, time is the most precious thing on this planet. For example, like, when you commit a crime, what's the worst crime that someone can commit on this planet?
They take your time off you. That's what happens,
but what's the worst crime?
That's murder. It will be
exactly,
murder.
Exactly. It'll be that. And then what's the punishment? It's the maximum time that they'll give you, because that's the ultimate punishment. Time, ultimately, and that's the key thing. So, time is precious. Time is precious, guys, and you need to make sure that we can recoup that time back. And by recouping that time back, you need to maximize it in a positive way so that you can elevate to the next future, or to the top next way of doing things.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you really break it down, time is finite, and it's a big unknown. We don't know how long we've got. tomorrow's not promised. Let's be really realistic about this.
Yeah.
So if time is finite, and let's say on the contrast, money is something which is unlimited. They literally print money. You know, that's a whole other topic.
Exactly.
They literally.
Oh, we're going to get into that one.
Yeah.
Another debate. That's going to be another one.
Yeah, they literally print money. So when you really, really break it down, what is more important? The time. But the way the system is designed, in order to get your time, you need to find ways to exit that trap where you are constrained by money.
Escape the matrix.
And you know, as we're on productivity, I want to give a quick technique. I want to give a real practical thing to take away. Fundamentals. People have different ways of which they manage their time. I'll give you a technique. It's called the Pomodoro technique, right? So if you're somebody who gets distracted and you tend to procrastinate, you tend to look at YouTube videos and things of that nature when you're meant to be working, let's go Pomodoro technique. 25 minutes focused on one task. Locked in, focused on this task. And then after the 25 minutes is done, you maybe put an alarm on your phone. 5 minutes to just relax. Maybe watch the YouTube video, 5 minutes, and then your alarm goes off. Then back to the 25. Now you repeat that iterative process 4 times in total, and then you take a longer break, 30-minute break, and then you keep doing that. But when you really break it down by the hours, you've been productive with your time. There's been some downtime, but you've been able to control that.
You know what? It's funny that, and you know what triggered when you said that to me? It's like when you go to the gym and then you're training in intense, and then you need to have that 1 minute break. Sometimes people take a bit long time in the gym where they want to be on their phones, checking a couple like 14, couple tracks on their phones while they're during that resting time. But what they could literally be doing is like set a timer on and literally be like, right, 1 minute break, and then literally go and hit their same intensity. So it's the same thing. So the model that what you're saying to the people is the same thing that you can apply in all aspects in life. It's quality time and making sure that your time is actually with intent, with a purpose, actually intentful.
Yeah, spot on. I think what you said, taking it to gym as well,
Yeah.
is very key. The people who, you do your set and then you're on your phone.
Yeah.
By the time you've realized how many minutes have gone past and all the blood is released from your muscles anyway. So then what have you done? You've lost momentum. The same way in life on a day-to-day, you're meant to be doing something, then you procrastinate, then you lose momentum. That's what you need to not be doing.
Urgency. You have to have that sense of urgency when it comes to time management as well, because when it comes down to it, when it really comes down to it, you have to be quick on the mark, because the time that it takes you to delay and to time waste, literally, it's just time that is just eating away, and time doesn't wait for anyone. It literally doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. And the opportunity that you're waiting for could be at your fingertips.
Opportunity cost.
And that's it. But because you don't have that sense of urgency, you may have missed the trick. That email you should have checked and responded to quickly. Don't sit on it. Respond. That submission deadline that you were supposed to meet, don't wait till the last minute. Start prepping from early on. Things of that nature. Sense of urgency. That's a spot on.
Can I be honest with you? That is what literally kills a lot of people, to be fair. That is actually what kills a lot of people, because you're right. You will miss an opportunity because they'll be like, oh, I'll deal with it like tomorrow. I'll deal with it in 5 minutes. Not even 5 minutes. Just I'll deal with it in like an hour from now. But then if you're in the business world, a competitor will jump on that, and it's literally first come, first serve. Was it the early bird catches the worm, right?
Exactly.
And that's exactly what it is. And that's what it is. It's player versus player. You're in competition. You're not just in competition with yourself. You're in competition with guys like myself and Alf. If we see something in the same industry, we're going to take it. And that's what it boils down to.
Yeah, we'll pounce. And that's the reality.
That's what it is. Pounce. So in order for you to be like number one in whatever craft or whatever that you do, you have to put yourself out there, and you have to make sure that urgent time is important. Keys valuable.
And this is why the procrastinator puts themselves in a very dangerous situation, because people who are aware of the importance of urgency, they will pounce on the opportunity right away. And you procrastinating, thinking you can come back to it later, you've already missed the mark. You've missed it. You missed the party. The party's gone.
That's in all walks of life.
Yeah, the ship sailed.
Exactly. You missed the boat. You might want to, talk to that girl, and then I'll say you might want to talk to that girl, and then you say, oh yeah, let me wait, let me see what's going on, and then bam, someone's gone and taken it.
What can you do?
Exactly.
Sense of urgency.
Sense of urgency, man. Sense of urgency. So, you guys, you need to be urgent. You need to have that. And also, again, you just need to make sure that just document your time. Just document. Look at the things that are important to you. Look at the things that the essential that I mentioned, like, you have to, you have to have food, sleep, and all that kind of stuff. But in terms of like that extra time, what are you really spending your time doing? Like, are you spending all your time watching Netflix, watching Pornhub? All that shit needs to stop. Like, you literally need to literally focus, get it, and literally focus on literally trying to take yourself to that next level.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you know what I think? Let's hone back a little bit into the routine side of it.
Yeah.
Which is even the third real bullet we wanted to dive into. I think when it comes to routine, there is there's a couple of steps that need to come before it. And it starts with vision, right? You need to have a vision for your life. This is where we're going. This is the top of the mountain, right? Now, in order to get to the mountain, to get to that peak, you now need to set goals. Long-term goals, short-term goals. You need to really break it down in a methodical way, right? To achieve that vision. Now, let's take an example. From a physical standpoint, you have goals. From a mental standpoint, you have goals. From a personal development standpoint, you have goals, right? From a career standpoint, you have goals, things that you're aiming towards. Now, in order to ultimately achieve that vision, these are the goals in these different areas, right? This is what I need to do. Now you break it down by the year, you break it down by the month, you break it down by the week, you break it down by the day. And then you continue to build momentum and move in that direction. And that's a very important thing to do. And where those goals now lead to is routine, the day-to-day. So as you've broken it down from vision to goals, down to routine, is like, what does the routine need to look like to achieve these goals? And you need to measure it. This is where writing it down. The phone isn't always the best idea. Get a pen and paper, get a journal, get a notepad, and writing it every single day. You see, with these things, it may feel like overkill, but when you take a very methodical approach to life, you've got something to measure against. And you've got something that you can always go back to and do retrospectives. My journals go back years. I can see where I was a few years back to now. I can see the journey, the growth, and how things were planned out. It's not by accident. It's not by accident. It's having a vision.
And it's not by luck. Yeah, and it's not by luck. It's not luck either. You have to put in the work.
It's methodical, and ultimately, it's faith, that belief, that ultimate belief that, okay, I've got this vision, I've got the faith. Now the execution. That's another one of the ones I use. Vision, plan, execute. Very important.
Yeah, definitely. As they say, there's that saying, right? There's people that make things happen. There's things that watch things happen. And there's also there's people that don't know what's going on. Now, if you're watching this podcast, you're definitely watching it happen. So at least we know from our audience that you actually want to better yourself. You want to get there. What's the action? What are you doing? What are you actually doing, guys? What are we doing here? Are we actually going to put pen to paper, write down your goals, write down your mission, write down where you really want to be? And then if that's what you really want for yourself, then we need to put into action. No one's going to hold your hand. No one's going to no one's going to do it for you. You have to make sure that you go and find the time and cut out the noise, cut out the distractions, and literally focus on what you actually want in life.
Yeah, and it's your life at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's your life.
We're just here just trying to give you like the blueprint on things that can help you to obviously take it to that next level. But by the end of the day, it's only you that can hold your hand. It's only you that can, it's that saying, isn't it? You can take a horse to the water, but you can't force it to drink. And that's what we're doing. We're showing you what needs to be done. Alpha is giving you methods, giving you ways of actually putting things together. Guys, follow this. Seriously, it's good stuff, man. It's good information. Trust me, you'll benefit from it. As I said, we're going to put a description in the actual pod as well, so you guys can see the PDF. But definitely, you guys need to home in on this.
Yeah.
It's good information, man.
Yeah, and to be very clear, I'm not at the top of the mountain. I'm 75% of the way there. But where I'm breaking it down, this is how the journey has progressed. And it's worked. It's working. So if it helps somebody, absolutely take it on board.
Exactly. And exactly, as you said, as you just said, we're not at the top of the mountain. We don't want to make it out and be like, yeah, we're here and you guys are down here. That's not what this pod's about. Literally, what we're trying to say is that this is our journey. This is where we are. We see that this method works. Guys, come along with the journey and follow this method and come with the journey because we're seeing results and we're seeing it at a fast pace.
Yeah, exactly. And I've had great mentors. That's all it is. Passing on information. I've had fantastic mentors who have given me game that I've been able to utilize. I've been able to execute and progress. So the same way we've pulled this podcast together, we are sharing things that work. It's not theory, it's practical. It's been implemented, it's been executed, and there's evidence to demonstrate it. So yeah, we're just sharing what has helped us.
Yeah, because if you just use this podcast for a perfect example. We could have just been talking about it. We could have just been talking about it, say, yeah, we want to do it, but we put it into action. We had to be like, right, so how are we going to manage our time? In fact, we both went to the gym this morning before even coming in. Exactly, it's not even midday yet. And yet still, we already knocked out our time because we actually know what our mission is. We know what needs to be done. Guys, what's your mission? What are you trying to get out? That's what it boils down to.
Yeah, and this is the thing. Overall, with implementing a good routine, it's important to not get distracted whilst you're executing that routine to ultimately achieve your goals.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, because distraction is that's a motherfucker. Distractions can happen, man. Because even when you're at work, I even see people in my office sometimes, they're working, but I see them on Insta, they're scrolling and going up and down, wasting time rather than homing in and actually being super productive on what needs to get done. So many times going on YouTube, just literally not doing whatever the task that needs to get sorted. So it happens I see it happens, and it's all about just trying to just be focused and be conscious on the task you achieve, because you actually will feel better and you actually will get some good wins out of that as well.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, people can either consciously or subconsciously kill time. Yeah. Right. So let's say the person who actually wants to kill time, but they don't realize the more optimal way to look at it is, okay, this idle time, what could I be doing that can help me to get where I need to go? But then subconsciously, people don't even know they're doing it. And this is where paradigms come into play. The vision, the goals, the routine, the planning. We're talking reprogramming your whole mind to optimize yourself to get where you are intending to go.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, is there any books that you would recommend? One that you're thinking of? I know one of them that I had in mind was Think and Grow Rich.
I think that's probably the one that would have come to mind first. I think it's one that's relatively easy to digest, even if somebody isn't a big reader. It helped me a lot. I've probably read that book 5 or 6 times now. Like, that book is in tatters. But I would say the one
you gave me the book.
I think if there's one takeaway that I would give someone from that book, it was the principle of auto-suggestion, or as you'd say, programming of your subconscious mind. So people probably heard affirmations and things of this nature, and this is where routine ties into it. So let's say within your daily routine in the morning, you've got that period of affirming yourself, the qualities that you are aiming for, but speaking about them as if you already possess them. And doing that consistently, you are programming your subconscious mind. So imagine all of these things are now blending and mixing together to ultimately push you to be the person that you desire to be. In fact, no, the person you have to be to get to where you want to go.
Nice.
Think and Grow Rich. I'd pick that one up.
Great book.
So yeah, I think this has been a useful session.
Yeah, definitely.
I hope it's been useful for you all.
Yeah, definitely. As we said before, guys, what we're going to do, we're going to put a little presentation for you guys. So I'll give to you. The link will be in the description. Click onto it, and then you'll see methods and the routines that we do in order to obviously manage our day effectively. It'd be good if you guys do it as well. So that's our gift to you. Definitely go and check it out.
Yeah, and the gift in return, like, comment, subscribe. Until the next one, Top Tier Podcast.
Top tier, baby, top tier.
Appreciate you tuning in. Thank you.